Have you ever prayed with everything you had, with all your heart, believing that God would heal you? Have you ever poured out your soul, begging God to restore you, to take away your pain, and yet healing never came? Have you ever asked, God, why didn't you answer my prayers? Her name was Lisa. She had always believed in the power of prayer. She had always trusted that God could heal. She had seen it happen in the lives of others. She had watched as the sick were made whole, as broken hearts were mended. She had been that person who laid hands on others, praying for them with unwavering faith, believing that God could do the impossible. But then, she became the one in need of healing. Her body had begun to betray her. What started as a minor discomfort turned into something much worse, something that doctors couldn't explain. And so, Lisa turned to the only thing she knew to do: pray. She prayed every day. She prayed in the quiet of her room. She prayed in the church, surrounded by her brothers and sisters in Christ. She prayed with faith. She prayed with expectation. She believed with all her heart that God would heal her, that His power was enough to make her whole again, but the pain never subsided. The sickness never went away. God, why didn't you heal me? Why didn't you answer my prayers? She had been faithful. She had believed. She had trusted, but healing didn't come. Maybe you've asked this too. Maybe you've prayed with every ounce of faith you have, asking God for healing, physical, emotional, spiritual, and yet the pain remains. You've prayed, you've believed, you've hoped, but nothing changes, and in the silence that follows, you begin to wonder, does God hear me? Does He care? Why doesn't He heal me? Lisa felt all alone in her struggle. She couldn't understand why God wasn't answering her prayers. She had given so much of herself to others. She had served, she had loved, she had trusted. But now, in the silence of her suffering, she felt abandoned. She felt unseen. She wondered if maybe her prayers weren't enough, if maybe her faith wasn't strong enough, and maybe you've felt that way too. Maybe you've wondered if your prayers are enough, if your faith is enough. Maybe you've even started to question God's goodness. If He is good, why wouldn't He heal me? But here's something to hold on to. Just because healing doesn't come in the way we expect it to, doesn't mean God is absent. It doesn't mean He's not listening. You see, God doesn't always answer our prayers the way we want. He doesn't always give us what we ask for when we ask for it. And that is one of the hardest things to accept, isn't it? But here's the thing. God's silence isn't His absence, and His timing isn't a reflection of His love for us. His ways are higher than ours. His understanding is far beyond ours. When Lisa's prayers weren't answered the way she had hoped, when healing didn't come as she expected, she began to wrestle with this truth. Sometimes God's healing doesn't look like what we expect it to look like. Sometimes healing isn't physical. Sometimes it's emotional or spiritual. Sometimes God uses our suffering to draw us closer to Him, to refine our hearts, to teach us to rely on Him in a deeper way. And yes, sometimes the answer to our prayers is not yet. It's not a denial of our faith, but a pause, an invitation to trust God even when we don't understand. Lisa began to understand that God's healing wasn't just about her body. It wasn't about physical restoration. It was about her heart. It was about drawing closer to Him, learning to trust Him even in the pain. God wasn't absent in her suffering. He was there, in the waiting, in the silence, in the unanswered prayers. And even though the healing she longed for hadn't come in the way she had expected, she began to feel God's presence in a way she never had before. God was healing her in ways she couldn't yet see. He was healing her heart, her soul, her trust in Him. And in that healing, she found peace. Peace that didn't come from her circumstances, but from knowing that God was with her, that He had not abandoned her, that He was still good, even in the midst of the storm. He heals the broken-hearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3 God may not heal us in the way we hope or expect, but He does heal us. He heals us in His perfect timing and in His perfect way. He is with us in the waiting. He is with us in the silence. And even when we don't understand why, healing hasn't come, we can trust that He is working in our lives, bringing restoration, peace, and hope. Sometimes, the most profound healing is not in the absence of pain, but in the presence of God in the midst of it.